Brother Walker and Sister Wilson. I will be using this opportunity, and as much as the guest I anticipated will be on at a later date, I want to take advantage of this opportunity to explain. Waive your grades from the beginning straight through to the end, every aspect of the program, and what that has to do with delivering to our young people who are in school and our veterans whom we pay tribute to what this program is about in this way. From station to station to station, meaning from segment to segment to segment. Now, this is what I mean by that. I will ask KUAW Wilson and/or Louis George Walker what happens before I turn on the theme song to the program. Just a couple of words, or if it takes a dissertation, that's all right with me. What must be done before the program begins?
Well, in a technical sense, we connect to our platforms and we make sure our mics are on and the audio and video is going out to the different platforms, and then we're pretty much ready to go.
Thank you very, very much. I'm praying that there are young people who will be paying attention, but just in case there are educators, please use the program for each of its segments. And if an exam were coming up on Friday, one of the purposes of that exam would be to say you understand that it takes something to get a program started. Now, before you hear voices, other than with the music, the segment of the program that starts us off is the theme song. Now, the theme song, Waive Your Grades, really depicts what we are about. And we find that the balance and the timing, not only that, the manipulation of the theme song, if it is necessary, is much easier if I do it live. Now, understand, young people who are paying attention to the segments of the program, you will observe us trying to get the proper balance. But as you can well imagine, the main thing is we want you to hear the words of the theme song, because we think that will help you to understand what we are about, what Waive Your Grades is about. Now, watch this. This music is coming on. I'm talking. KUAW Wilson, our producer, will say, turn the music up louder or turn it down. But whatever that is, if we are now balanced, now I'm going to give you the words to the theme song. In this parade, please waive your grades of the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. I said, in this parade, please waive your grades at the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. You make this parade a mere charade if you're marching just for fun. Our troops must feel your thanks for real before the marching is done. They know side by side you can match their stride to the drum beat and the brass, but they're not impressed with you unless you can match their stride in class. This may not sound too diplomatic, but I cannot be more emphatic when I tell you it's problematic when you do less than your best. Especially when it's because you put your brilliance on pause for the mere peer applause that draws from a so-called friend doing less. Quit playing. I'm saying, we know that you are great, and you know it. So show it. Don't make our heroes wait. In this parade, please waive your grades at the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. Now, for those of you who already do the things that make us proud, your nation in appreciation says thanks to you out loud. Your schoolmates should imitate the way you tap your potential. Let me try to convince them why their effort is essential. Our men and women in uniform before, during, and after Desert Storm always perform above the norm everywhere and anywhere on the planet. Your peers should follow our heroes' lead, but they cannot follow if they cannot read. Allow me please to plant this seed. Don't take freedom for granted. I'm serious, I'm furious to see U.S. schools behind. No excuses. All we gotta do is make up our minds. In this parade, please wave your grades at the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. We believe in you, warriors, protect you too. Do what you must to rise. So please do your part and please start before another warrior dies. In this parade, please wave your grades at the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. They sacrifice for you. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. Please.
Good afternoon and welcome to Wave Your Grades on KUAW.org, the academic patriotism program that is dedicated to veterans and serious secondary scholars. I am your announcer, KUAW Wilson. Now, here is our civilian urban educator host, Carl Boyd.
Thank you so very, very much. And again, today is Saturday, April 15th, 2023. And this is a program that is used in a class that explains not just what the program is about, but also explains how the program is produced and presented to you. The first thing that occurred was there was preparation for the program. KUAW Wilson is your announcer. You hear KUAW announce, but you don't see what she does before the program starts. And so there are technical things that must be done in order for the program to begin. Now, I said technical. Let me tell you something technical that we did not anticipate. I left my flashes on and had to get my keys to Louis George Walker. But KUAW, let me tell you something else. My key fob has been malfunctioning. Now, therefore, I am going to ask that I put the theme song back on and not recite it.
Okay.
Run out between the time that I put that back on and come back to resume the teaching segment of Wave Your Grades. So please allow me to do that. That's okay?
We are prepared.
Now, for this time, I'm going to do the version that has the words because I won't be saying it live. This was certainly not something that was anticipated. I'll be right back.
Wave your grades at the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. I said, in this parade, please wave your grades at the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. You make this parade a mere charade if you're marching just for fun. Our troops must feel your thanks for real before the marching is done. They know side by side you can match their stride to the drum beat and the brass. To the drum beat and the brass. But they're not impressed with you unless you can match their stride in class. This may not sound too diplomatic, but I cannot be more because it draws from a so-called friend doing less. Quit playing.
My prayer is
You know
that those who have joined us on Wave Your Grades have indeed developed a new appreciation for the theme song because we have played it twice. And thank you, Louis George Walker, for helping me to make sure that everything is all right with the car now. Going back in a serious way about explaining what this program is, what it is all about, and why, from a technical standpoint, it can be used in a classroom, I am suggesting that those, particularly young people who join the program, can benefit from understanding what it takes to make the presentation and to understand why we are so serious in that presentation, because we honestly believe that what we are doing is important. Wave Your Grades. We say that this program presented by the Stutes for Boots, and you will hear this in Sister DeQuay Wilson's next announcement, the term organization as opposed to organization, because our action is to help young people to understand the importance of paying tribute to those who have served, those who are serving. And we are determined that they should not come home to neighborhoods that are more dangerous than where they have been deployed overseas. That being the case, we bring Wave Your Grades, saying to young people that those who have served, and they proved it on this program, appreciate that young people are doing their best to make this a better society, because otherwise they're serving in vain. Now, that being the case, the first thing, preparation. The second thing, the theme song. And I have a line in the theme song, and it says, I'm serious, I'm furious about U.S. schools being behind other schools across the world. Now, why would I, an educator from the year 1964, when I started teaching on the south side of Chicago, 7th and 8th grade science, suggest that I am furious when I see American schools behind? I'll tell you why. American schools' inferiority is inexcusable. Why do I say it's inexcusable? I'll tell you why. This is one of the few societies in the world that allows for freedom of expression, freedom of learning, freedom for the opportunity to go to classes, dedicated teachers, those who want our young people to learn, and without having the kinds of disruptions that we have in other places across the world. But let me tell you, when I wrote the theme song and said, I'm serious, I'm furious about U.S. schools behind, I was talking about the quality of education at the local school level. But DeQuay Wilson, I have repeated today's date more than once. This is the year 2023. I wrote this song several years ago. I'm furious in 2023 because the opportunity for young people to learn in an apolitical environment is being marred by those who are using students, who are using young people as pawns in our political debates. School should be apolitical. School should be a place where even a controversial subject matter can be treated in an intelligent manner, so that if we discover that there is something distasteful, there is something wrong, there is something amiss, that we trust the young people of today to be the ones who are going to figure it out and not only learn but apply what they learn to making a better society than it is. Now that in and of itself is sufficient particularly for anybody who is in education, because ostensibly we believe that those who get into education are doing it because they want to create a better society. That's enough just in and of itself, wanting to create a better society. But when I think about those who have leadership in political positions using schools to make their political positions, those kinds of positions that exert power, where you have greater power in a particular political district than another. And by the way, I'm talking about on either extreme as it relates to political parties, political affiliations. Listen, we are not number one in the world. American schools cannot afford the luxury to be debating politically while we are falling behind in science, technology, engineering, and math, and for that matter, for artistic design, for entrepreneurialism. We cannot afford to be falling behind when we have weather conditions that we haven't been able to figure out, and we have young people who are intelligent enough to deliberate on that, but we are causing them to have to talk about things political, or even in 2023, talking about closing libraries, talking about burning books, talking about not being able, not trusting educators in the United States of America to treat subject matter that is sensitive in such a positive and classy way that our young people cannot benefit from learning and knowing how to correct things. This is making no sense whatsoever, particularly if we are 19 places below Finland and learning things that need to be learned. One of the things that I say in talking about Stoots for Boots is, and I say it not casually, but sometimes I think it might get biased, when I say it is appalling when we have those who come home to a community that is more dangerous than, and for that matter, less served than, somewhere they've been deployed to save. So America is saying, if you are having difficulty where you are, we'll come over and we'll help you out, and we will deploy and we will train you and we will help you to come back home to students who are less well educated than the ones they went to save. And I should put the word save in quotes, because when we talk about save and put it within the context of salvation, then I wonder if we're going in a positive direction or a negative direction, or if we're going anywhere at all. Maybe we're just standing still. So the whole idea here is to say, just in case there is anybody who has tuned in to Wave Your Grades and does not understand how serious we are in dedicating and honoring those who have served and those who are serving, let us make sure that when we take the time to utter the theme song, it was not just to have a good beat, but we are actually appealing to American students to attempt to be the best students in the world. But here again, and by the way, I'm sorry to KUAW Wilson, because I said that KUAW Wilson is not just the producer and engineer, but I say co-host as well. So please join the conversation as you will.
Well, as I look at what is going on and I listen to you speak, the thing that comes to mind is oftentimes problems are solved when you put a fresh pair of eyes on it. But it looks as though when you think about our politicians and those who are shaping our laws and our education practices, you would think that, or it appears that they don't want the problem solved because they want to reduce the number of eyes that are focused on the problem. However, because I have faith in our young people, we have to also understand that these are their lived experiences, that whatever it is that is being hidden, or at least attempted to be hidden from them. These are things that they are experiencing in real time. And even though you have some in power that are trying to keep, I guess, for lack of a better term in this conversation, to keep the conversation moving, access to information, these kids will still figure it out. They will figure it out. So that is what you make me think of as I listen to you speak.
And one of the things that is important for us, and one of the things that is important for me to project, is trust. I think I have mentioned to you before that my wife and our then pastor in Phoenix, Arizona, Isaac Petrie Sr., accused me of having the gift of faith. I am a chronic optimist. I believe that things can get better. But in that gift of faith, I trust young people to have enough intelligence to be able to learn. We know, they know, we know unequivocally that the problems we are facing today, April 15th, are not going to be solved by April 22nd, next Saturday. That's not going to happen. It's going to happen because of somebody sitting in a fifth grade classroom today. We need to help stimulate young people to believe enough in their ability to solve problems that we will have, and in one of my books I use the phrase problem solving public schools, PSs, problem solving public schools. And I'll give you an example of what I am talking about. We say that climate control is important and is real. We have looked at, and how many times are those of you who are hearing us today, how many times just between January 1st and here today, April 15th, have you heard the superlative, the worst storm we have seen, the worst massacre we have seen, the most formidable challenge we have seen? I mean, we are at a point now where my chronic optimism says, young people, thank us for giving you an opportunity to apply the things that you will learn, because we are giving you an opportunity to do it right where we have not gotten it right just yet. Therefore, the problem-solving public schools see this disaster, and young people gather and say, we can really figure this out. Give us the opportunity, give us the supplies, give us the tutors, give us the environment, and give us the books that we're not afraid to read, that you don't want us to read, and we will help you old folks out because we just haven't quite gotten it right yet. Now, the other thing is segmentizing the program. Please give your introduction again, and let me take one part of that I want to discuss right quick. And the word civilian.
Well, almost from top to bottom.
Okay.
Welcome to Wave Your Grades on KUAW.org, the academic patriotism program that is dedicated to veterans and serious secondary scholars. I am your host, your announcer, KUAW Wilson. Now, here is our host, civilian urban educator, Carl Boyd.
Okay, civilian urban educator. In as much as taking the time today to explain what the program is all about, I think it's important for me to say civilian for two reasons. One reason is because it is a descriptor, just so you will know that I am coming from the standpoint of being a civilian supporter of those who have served and those who are serving. But the second reason saying civilian is important to me is because I do not want to receive credit, as it were, for something I did not do. I have a cap that Gerald Caldwell presented to me, and it says proud military advocate. But it looks like a cap worn by someone who is in the military. I love the cap. I don't wear it often because people say, thank you for your service. Then I have to say, well, no, I actually wasn't in the service. This cap says I'm a military advocate. The reason that is important to me is because I am convinced that in the United States of America, we do not respect those who have served enough. Just saying thank you doesn't get it. That's why we say wave your grades. Don't wave the flag. Waving the flag is all right. But no, wave your grades. This is something you have done. But do it in honor of those who have given you the opportunity to do it. Don't just wave the flag and wave your grades. Wave your community service. We are blessed, KUAW Wilson, to be doing a program from the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center. This is an historic institution from the 1970s that was founded by volunteers who are teaching our young people the things that they need to know, not just to get through school, but to get through life. And we will have to engage Brother Leon Dixon, one of the founders of the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center, and just find out from him how many alumni come back and talk about their days at the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center and the things that they learned that gave them scholarships to college, but also, and most of all, gave them an appreciation for the importance of education. Please go ahead.
You make me think now that you do deserve a thank you for your service. I understand that this program is about military veteran service, but when you think about the War on Educator and the investment that you have made into youth in whichever community, whether it was your community in Chicago where you were a teacher for a number of years or the community here in Kansas City where you continue to teach, you are a veteran in this war that we have on education. And so for that, you do deserve a thank you for your service.
Well, I thank you for that. And if I can receive that and thank you for that, then as you will agree, I can say thank you in behalf of a number of educators and those of us who are veteran educators and the educators who have come after us. So I thank you for that. As a matter of fact, I thank you in this very important way. In my daily messages to young people, in some of them, I suggest to young people that they should respect the veterans, those who have served and are serving, and should respect their teachers. So for you to put it in context that way, let me receive it as humbly as I know how to suggest that, yes, indeed, America is divided, KUAW Wilson, on so many fronts we cannot count them all. But we believe that there are two things upon which we ought to be able to agree. One, we ought to respect and honor those who serve and have served. That's one thing we ought to be able to agree upon. But two, let us also agree upon the importance of education. Not the importance of subject matter, but the importance of the definition of education, meaning learning something that you can apply to improve your life and the life of those around you. And if indeed we are going to say that is important, then I receive your thank you in behalf of educators, because educators should be thanked, should be respected. And you know, I'm prejudiced. You know how old I am. I said that I started teaching in the 60s. I am concerned when I see younger educators who are not as dedicated as we like to think that we were and are. But there seemed to be more career educators when I was going to school, which is many decades back, and even when I started, so that young people would go back and visit a school, and they would say, "Oh man, is Mrs. Wilson still here?" Man, she's right down there in room 332 where she's been for these, however many decades, however long. And we have created a climate where in some cases now we say that if you teach for a year or two, or if you do something like that, then you can move up, you can get a promotion, you can get a scholarship or something like that. So I have my prejudices where teaching is concerned, but I thank you for that observation and your thank you.
Absolutely.
In that intro, talking about that aspect of it, let me also explain, and by the way, wanted to do something today that remind me that we must do every Saturday from now on. Let us begin the program with 599-6893. Is that correct? 599-6893.
816.
And the area code. 816-599-6893. So that whoever is listening and or watching can get an opportunity from the very beginning of the program to call in if they like, and or if we have special guests, that number will appear so they know how to contact the program. So now we have, as today's lesson, 1, the preparation for the show is absolutely important, crucial as a matter of fact. So thank you, Louis George Walker, founder, teacher, as it were, mentor, as it were. Thank you, KUAW Wilson, for that part of your responsibility. 2, theme song. Please do not take the theme song for granted. The words were put together to actually ask American students to strive for excellence in honor of our troops. 3, your announcer has indicated that the program is hosted by a civilian, Carl R. Boyd. Now, as we talk about the program, and I am attempting to get these things across, another aspect of the program, I will ask KUAW Wilson to make that announcement that talks about an essay contest, an opportunity for our young people to participate. And that particular announcement goes like this.
Students, you can win a monetary award from our sponsoring organization, as you heard earlier in the show. And yes, we do say organization on purpose because it is action with purpose. Our organization is Stutes for Boots. Your essay will be titled Heroes You Know You Did Not Know Were Heroes. Your content will identify a veteran at at your school. That veteran can be anyone, a teacher, custodian, coach, cafeteria worker. It could be anyone. If your essay is chosen and submitted by an adult who gives you permission to read it on this Waive Your Grades program, you will be awarded a monetary prize. And for entry and or inquiry, please send an email to stootsforboots@gmail.com. That is stootsforboots@gmail.com, stootsforboots@gmail.com.
Thank you. Now, the reason this is important is because among us every day, there are people who have served. In fact, there are people who are serving. And as it relates to that, what we refer to as heroism, it is not singularly military heroes. There are certainly other heroes in our midst every day, all day, in various aspects of how they serve. We have selected military heroes because that's the theme of what we are about, where this program is concerned and where Stutes for Boots is concerned. So now, We have not played it back, but we're going to search for it. I think that I have the program that featured Syria Shields. I think I have that program. And if I can call it up, I will, and then call upon you, your technical expertise as it was, to perhaps play a segment back and or at least read some of what Syria Shields said. Now, why do I talk about that within this context? It's important to us in this way. Syria Shields knew Mr. Carl Evans, who recently passed on, but Carl Evans was an educator. But he was not just an educator. He had a number of veteran educators and the youngest of participants coming to where he resided once a week to discuss issues that confronted the society in which we live, and they were not exclusively education issues, even though he was an educator. Now, Carl Evans wasn't the only person doing that. There were many people doing that. But Syria Shields chose Carl Evans because of his consistency, because of his candor, because of his honesty, because of his hospitality, because of his history as an educator and an entrepreneur. When Generation Rap was very active, we got our T-shirts and our jackets from T-Shirt King. That was Carl Evans. But veteran educators, when they wanted to talk about deeper matters as it related to the education background, they went to Carl Evans' sessions. Now, I'm saying all of that to get back to this essay contest. But at any rate, when offered the opportunity to do an essay, heroes you know, you didn't know were heroes. Syria had observed Carl Evans in all the various ways he is remembered for serving the community, but found out that he was a veteran. And the wonderful thing about her essay citing Carl Evans is because that is precisely the kind of person we're talking about. Someone who is serving you every day. You see them in the principal's office, or you might see them in the cafeteria. You might see a custodian. You might see the coach, whomever it might be, who never mentioned their military service. And then you find out that not only did they serve, but they were distinguished. KUAW Wilson might even know Diane Charity. Let me see. How do you know Diane Charity?
Well, I've known Diane for actually most of my life. Initially, I met her. We've been church members since I was a little girl, and when her children were children. So yeah, I've known Diane for a very long time, at least 40 years.
Now think about that. At least 40 years. This is a rhetorical question. I think I know what the answer to the question is. But to KUAW Wilson, how many times did Diane Charity say to you, I will have you to know that I was discharged honorably as a hard sergeant? How many times did she say that to you?
Countless.
These folks need to know that in a military that did not boast of female participation for all of these many decades, centuries, that you have someone who is in our midst with whom we deliberate every day, who needed to hear that, like those of us who are close to her, have heard. So that Syria Shields, if we can get excerpts from her essay where Carl Evans is concerned, we can play the excerpt when we play the announcement, and we can offer to young people who are in school the opportunity to write the essay, Heroes You Know, You Didn't Know were heroes. Now, the reason that we say at the end of the announcement and when that essay is received, it will be submitted by the adult in your education experience is because it needs to be legitimately sponsored by and attested to someone at your school who is an adult and who can say, yes, we did receive this person did write it, and we will offer a monetary award for that essay. If you are interested in all of the details, please remember Stoots for Boots at gmail.com. Stoots for Boots at gmail.com. And as our announcer and co-host spelled out, STOOTSFORBOOTS at gmail.com. And submit your essays or ask whatever questions you might have. For heroes you know, you didn't know were heroes. Now, as we explain what this program is all about, before going into the commentary and the daily message, let me just speak for a moment about those who are invited to be guests on the program. We can honestly say, from someone representing the 6888 Women's Unit of Mail Distributors, and that is mail, M-A-I-L, because those we're talking about are female. From having the privilege and the honor of someone on this program, from that service, up to last week, Joel and Nyla talking about housing for disabled veterans. This program seeks to provide not only the information, but with the authentic people who are serving us every day. And that further emphasizes why we want to honor them with excellence. KUAW, another thing that we have learned, we've been blessed to have as guests. All of our guests are not educators. Right. All of our guests are not military personnel. But we have guests who are serving the community in various ways. But every guest we approach must be someone who is attempting to improve the society in which we live. We can see on various media all day, every day, people who are debating, people who are arguing with one another, people who are trying to make a point, people who, by the way, are attempting to gain more power in some peculiar kinds of ways. And frankly, a lot of those programs have higher ratings and a lot more attention and advertisers because of the controversies that they stir up. Our insistence is, if you are a guest on Wave Your Grades on KUAW.org, please come on and tell us what you're doing to improve the community. And we've been blessed to have several people like that.
Yes, we have.
So go ahead if you were going to say something, because
Just agreeing with you. We have had some amazing people who have contributed greatly and continue to contribute greatly to our community. So, yeah, I'm just agreeing with you.
Thank you. And as we go through the segments of the program, then that would be a very important segment, and that is interviewing our guests. As you do indeed contact us at 816, as Brother Lewis George Walker said, 816-599-6893. It might not just be a question. It might be a suggestion for a guest or a group of guests or an organization or some young people, but just feel free to feel like this is your program. It is our program together. So please do that. So the segments of the program, if we were in a class and I were the instructor, I would be asking my students, take us back through, what do you remember that we have said? Well, one thing perhaps you will recall is technically it takes preparation for a program like this. So something is done before the theme song comes on. The theme song was written because we really want our young people to take seriously striving for excellence in honor of our troops. The introduction and helping all of those who participate to know that I am a civilian host, but I am blessed to be a veteran educator. So that is a blessing. The essay contest, heroes you know, you didn't know were hero, grades 7 through 12. But if you contact us, we'll give you all of the qualifications for the essay contest. And you can talk about and recall the caliber of visitors for the program and why we have such a program. So we're using this time on this afternoon to explain the segments of the program. Now, as we come down to the end of the program, I think that the next announcement, as far as a segment is concerned, is towards wrapping up the program. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so here is KUAW Wilson, and we will explain what this wrap-up is about.
Well, I would like to thank you all for joining us on your Stutes for Boots Wave Your Grades program. We come to you live every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. Central Standard Time from the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center right here in Kansas City, Missouri. I am your announcer, KUAW Wilson. Now, our host, Carl Boyd, will close with Carl's commentary on academic patriotism and his daily message for students in honor of our veterans from his book, Morning Messages.
Now, I don't know if there is a projection that I can do of the book, Morning Messages, every once in a while, and I'll learn how to do this. That likeness is projected on the screen.
Well, I don't know how to do it now, but I will definitely get with Mr. Walker and we will figure that out.
We can do that.
Absolutely.
Now, what we're talking about is teaching what the program is all about, and this aspect of the program as we come to the end, Carl's commentary on academic patriotism. Where is it? Oh, well, I didn't pull it out. I got my book in my briefcase. Academic Patriotism is the name of the book. Now, as it relates to a commentary, so often I talk too much, and I get to the end of the program and don't get an opportunity to say formally what that commentary is. But now we do have time. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That I can offer an example of our weekly commentary and put it within the context of the program so that you see what Wave Your Grades is all about in all of its various aspects. Listen, please, to Carl's commentary on academic patriotism. This particular one goes like this. For today's commentary on academic patriotism, allow me to offer academic patriotism as a philosophy of American education. This philosophy asserts that American children do not need to learn just for personal success, but they must learn for this nation's progress. The context into which I place this philosophy explains why we have a weekly KUAW.org focus on students waiving their grades, or explaining how they are making our nation better by doing better, and therefore helping military service personnel to know that they do not serve in vain. This academic patriotism philosophy of education, Americans, black, red, white, yellow, brown, and other, volunteer to keep us safe right now in our military. American students, black, red, white, yellow, and brown, study to make our future even safer in our schools. That's why we say STOOTS. STUTS stands for Students Theater of Operations, the school. That is Carl's commentary on academic patriotism. And now, the aspect of a daily message, sometimes, because I do 365 the normal year, I have one for leap year, 366 messages, I have one for every day. I put in today's message or last night, and I do that every day. And KUAW, there are some times on a Wednesday night when I say, I should read this on Saturday. Because I think that where quality is concerned, all of them don't meet the same quality standard that I would like for them to meet. But in order to be consistent and make sure that it is not confusing, I just do it as it comes up for that particular day. Sometimes there's a guest in the studio and it turns out to hit it right on the head, just what our guests were talking about. But if it doesn't, I do it for whatever day that might be. I actually should be announcing that the book Morning Messages is available. So I have a book with the 366 messages for those who are in our schools. Only one that I can recall has told me that they use the morning messages. And I shall begin to quote, advertise, unquote, and try to get more to use the morning messages. It's a message every day that we hope inspires students to honor our military. So I would say, and each one begins, students across the USA, your Stoots for Boots message for this day. Then I give the date. Then I give the message. If there is time, repeating it, just because, of course, if I wrote it, it's important to me, but I would pray that it is important to those who listen and those who participate. So if we are down to that time when
We have 3 minutes.
that's perfect, because I'll give that, then we can turn on the theme song and close out the show. Needless to say, when we have our very special guests, we would thank our guests, find out if they have any closing remarks. We make our closing remarks. Theme song, see you later. So, today, to students across the USA, your Stoots for Boots message for this day, April 15th. Do not let our warriors see schools better than ours in a place they've been asked to save. Now, that's interesting because I talked about that earlier, and that happens to be, I wasn't even looking at today's message, but that happens to be today's message. Once again, to students across the USA, your Stoots for Boots message for this day, April 15th. Do not let our warriors see schools better than ours in a place they've been asked to save. And now, as I close, I will mention someone you've heard of, but KUAW Wilson. Whenever, wherever we see each other, under whatever circumstance, as we depart, what are your parting words to me?
Please give my love and blessings to wonderful Wanda.
Every time. So now, it just happens that from a radio program on another station starting December 12th, 1987, it is now April 15th, 2023. You will always hear me say, Gracious God and wonderful Wanda, I'm on my way home. This has been Wave Your Grades.
The thing